Hi everyone! So this is a video I've been really wanting to make for a long time because cosplay is something that I really love and really enjoy doing, even though I don't always have the time or money to put into it or even a convention to wear it to. I know I could just buy a pre-made costume online, however there are a few reasons why I personally don't want to do that. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this video. This video is actually inspired by one that I saw on YouTube here a while back by a girl named Sierra. I'll put her channel name up here once I find it later. She did this video where she tried on cheap versus expensive Halloween costumes, and she ended up buying this ridiculously expensive Harley Quinn cosplay off Etsy. And though I agree with the commenters that she did not receive a cosplay of the quality that she should have gotten for that price and it wasn't what she was promised, she did make a comment like, why would someone pay this much for a Halloween costume? And while I agree that maybe a Halloween costume where you're wearing it for one day, one night max, that's pretty ridiculous to spend a ton on that. For an actual cosplay that you're going to be wearing to multiple conventions and doing photo shoots in and stuff like that, the quality difference is pretty big. It's the difference between feeling comfortable and confident in what you're wearing, being able to wear it for a few days straight, being able to really get into character versus feeling uncomfortable, self-conscious, maybe even just not feeling any different than if you're just wearing a t-shirt for the character. So in this video I'm going to compare my handmade cosplay of KDA Kaisa from League of Legends to a mass-produced one that I found online. I'm only going to do one cosplay comparison for this video just because I don't really have the money to spend on a bunch of different cosplays, but I think this one will get the point across pretty well. Just a disclaimer, I know that not everyone who wants to cosplay has the time, money, or ability to put into hand-making their own. This video is not meant to put down people who buy these mass-produced cosplays because ultimately cosplay is just for fun. It's a way to show your support for fandom and connect to others who have the same interests. However you choose to cosplay is totally up to you, and don't let anyone give you crap for not making your own because it's a lot of time, a lot of money, and it can be very stressful, and so I really don't blame anyone for not wanting to hand-make an entire cosplay. Especially with props and stuff, because those get crazy. I personally just really enjoy making things, and I have a hard size to fit with mass-produced stuff, so that's why I opt to make my own. But you do you, this video is just to show the difference to those who may not know. Anyway, onto the video. Any of you who have shopped for cosplays online, or looked for merch for a certain character have probably come across these cheap mass-produced cosplays that I'm talking about. They typically use the exact same images of a garment along with either stolen artwork of the character or stolen pictures of professional cosplayers. I say stolen because they never credit the original owner of the material. You'll see the same pictures used on the same listings across many different websites, platforms, price ranges, companies, everything. It's pretty sketchy when you think about it. These listings typically show up on sites like eBay, Wish, AliExpress, and then any generic cosplay related website. I chose to get mine from eBay, mostly because on Wish I couldn't find a full Kaisa cosplay because she isn't exactly the most popular character in KDA. These also take forever to arrive. As you can see in this screenshot, I ordered these on April 5th, and they just got here. So if you wait too long and need to rush to get it in time for a convention, you'll have to pay a lot more. So for my Kaisa cosplay, the most expensive part was definitely the wig. I paid $80 for my wig from a local wig shop, and then I styled it myself. I've had people ask me why I even bought a wig when my hair is already purple, but look at this hairstyle. I mean, she has space buns, braids, and still has this thick curtain of hair. Yeah, I don't have enough hair for that, so I bought a really thick wig to make sure I'd have enough hair to work with. The wig I bought online was $25, and it's pre-styled. So before I even look at that wig, I'm just gonna take a few guesses and say it's probably gonna be really plasticky and shiny. It's probably going to be really uncomfortable, the wig cap will probably be itchy, the hairstyle may not be very accurate, and it overall probably won't look very natural. That's just kind of what you get from cheap wigs. I'm guessing the little buns will be clip-ons, which is fine. I actually kind of prefer that. I wish I had done that for mine. Honestly, I love the wig that I bought from the wig shop for this cosplay. It's such a good quality wig, and once I take it out of the cosplay styling, I'm totally just gonna wear it if I feel like it, because I really want to get more use out of it. It's a really nice wig. For the rest of the outfit, I probably paid around $75 for the materials. I'll put a quick breakdown on the screen just so you can see all the different things that I bought. I bought a couple things off Wish just because I knew that would be the cheapest place to get those things and the quality would be good enough. The shoes I luckily stumbled on at Goodwill, and the leggings I picked up in person from Ragstock to make sure they were the type of material I wanted. And these are, like I said, just raw materials, so I still had to assemble and paint and sew everything together. So this cosplay was actually super easy to make compared to others. Since her outfit was pretty close to normal clothing, I was able to just buy base garments and alter them to be what I wanted. I've had cosplays I had to make entirely from scratch, and while those ones cost less in terms of materials, there's a lot more labor that went into it. That would definitely drive the price up if I were to sell them. So just going by past experience, I'm gonna guess that the materials in the mass-produced one are going to be very plasticky, really thin, probably way too metallic looking. Pretty much how you'd expect cheap clothing to feel, like if you've ever bought anything off Wish or one of those Halloween costume stores that only show up for 2 months of the year, or even Forever 21 in some cases. Yeah, that like really cheap fabric, that's what I'm guessing everything's gonna be. Since it's mass-produced, it's probably not going to fit me very well either, just because mass-produced things tend to not fit me unless they're a specialty size. However, this outfit has a bare midriff, and since the waist is usually where things tend to not fit me, if the size chart's accurate, I'm guessing this is actually going to be okay. So the total for my handmade cosplay just comes to $155, and that's just for the materials, versus $65 for the completed cosplay off eBay. Okay, so this is my Kaisa cosplay. Sorry I have to hold the microphone. I literally don't talk loud enough for it to pick me up otherwise. Accuracy is something I care a lot about. I like to try to make it look as accurate to the character as possible, just because the character designer put a lot of work into the design, and since I'm cosplaying it, I like the outfit, so I want to wear it as close as possible. I use a combination of the character's splash art and their in-game model to determine what is accurate, just because I know in the splash art you can't see everything. And the in-game model has to be obviously lower resolution, a lot less details than the splash art, so that's why I kind of use a combination of the two. If you look at her splash art, you can tell that her leggings are a lot more metallic than the black part of her top, which is what led me to believe that this top is more of a pleather type of situation, whereas the leggings are more metallic. And in terms of where everything sits on my body, I tried to look at the art for Kaisa to try to get it as close as possible. Despite what I just said about wanting to be super accurate in my cosplays, I did take some liberties with this one, just because if you look at all the other members of KDA, they have some sort of heart motif going on, except Kaisa, so I thought that was sad and wanted to include her in that little team moment. So I chose these gloves that have a little heart cut out that are super cute. I put a heart on her choker, and then I used these purple crystal heart earrings just to add another little something. For the hairstyle, again, I just tried to make it as accurate as possible. So you can see in her in-game model, she has these 2 braids coming out on the front here, so I did that. This one likes to twist in a weird way. And then of course she has the space buns, which are the most annoying and confusing hairstyle to try to do. I know I'm still not doing them right, but whatever. These are the boots. I just got plain boots and painted them to be what I wanted. Like I said, they're really scuffed up because I've worn them to quite a few conventions so far. I tried to make even the back of the top look as accurate as possible to what I could tell from her art and her in-game models, just because, again, when you're walking around at a convention, you can see all 360 degrees of it, so I wanted it to look good from every angle. So here's another overall look at my Kaisa cosplay. So yeah, since I made this cosplay, of course, it fits me really well. I, am not at all uncomfortable in it, aside from like the snaps on the back being a little bit itchy. Other than that, like, I really enjoy wearing it and I feel good in it, so I definitely will walk around in this all day at a convention. Like, these heels aren't super high, so they're pretty comfortable. I don't know, overall, I really like this outfit in general, but also as a cosplay, it's really comfortable and really easy. Yeah, I really like this one overall, and I really like how my cosplay turned out a lot. Oh boy, do I have things to say about this. Let's start with the wig, since I'm right here. Now that I know what a good quality wig is, this is so obviously terrible. So like I predicted earlier, the buns are clip-ons, so I can just, like, remove them. The buns are fine, like, I don't mind those. The only problem is that, like, it doesn't look natural because they're clip-ons. Like, when you do space buns, you have to take, hair from the top and pull it and wrap it around. And so that's what I did on my wig. That's what it looks like she did. But if I try to do that on this wig, even just to make it look more natural, that's when you start to get this, like, the track for the edge of the wig net showing. Even just in the part on top, you can see the net. I hate that. Like, that's so bad. My biggest problem with this wig, aside from the quality, is definitely the accuracy. So first of all, there's 4 braids instead of 2, so she has 2 braids, like, coming out at the sides of her neck in the splash art. One stays over her shoulder, the other one is, like, flying backward because she's, like, flipping her hair all dramatically. This wig has 4 braids. There's 2 in the front, and they come out, like, by the ears. But there's also 2 braids in the back, and I've seen a lot of wigs online do this. I don't understand where they got that from, because if you look at her game model and her splash art, like, that, there's 2 braids. I don't know where they're getting 4 from. However, in front, the braids are, like, super long, and I know they're not that long, which, like, That's kind of a nitpicky thing. Like, a lot of people probably don't care about the length of the wig being exactly correct, and that's totally fine. This is just me nitpicking because that's what I'm here to do. This wig also has these yellow rubber bands on the braids. If I were to actually wear this, I would replace them with clear ones. Overall, like, really don't like this wig. I mean, in a pinch, if I didn't want to, like, spend a lot of money on a wig, this would totally work because, like, there is a good amount of hair, like, it doesn't feel too thin. What really bothers me, though, is just how much you can see the net. Like, that's just awful. As for the rest of the outfit, oh boy, are there fit issues. You can see the choker is gigantic on me, which, like, I mean, that's something that's easy enough to alter, but, like, I might as well just make my own at that point. Yeah, same with this arm thing. Again, it's too big. It doesn't even stay up my arm. Everything else is just generally too big, which I kind of expected, though the size chart led me to believe things would fit better. This top, I could fit, like, a whole nother shirt under here. It is so big, like, you can see it just sticks way out. And it's just, like, it's really sticky. This fabric is so sticky. I figured this, like, leathery type material would be sticky, but the inside is sticky, and it's this, like, typical lining fabric, and it's just, like, sticky to me. It's awful. As for the bottoms, you can see these don't fit super well either. Like, there's, like, a lot of weird excess fabric at the top, and then also, like, in the legs. And again, the leggings, too, are, like, sticking to me. Everything here is just so big, and I don't know if this is because I'm small, or if it's just that things run big, or what, but this is the smallest size they had. I can't imagine, like, someone who's plus size trying to fit into this stuff. Like, this only went up to, like, an extra large, so, like, what do you do if you wear a different size than that? Or, like, what if the extra large runs small, even though the extra small runs big? In terms of accuracy, I mean, from a distance, it definitely looks fine. Like, in pictures from a little ways away, it would look okay. This, like, I mean, it's shiny enough, but it's just puckering so much that it looks bad. And, like, what they actually did, it's not separate pieces. They just sewed on ribbon to, like, make the stripes. So the spacing between the pieces isn't very accurate, which is another, like, super nitpicky thing. Like, that's probably not a huge deal. Another thing is the back, actually. The back is just one big piece, and it has a zipper. So, like, that's not accurate at all. Though, again, if you're just taking pictures in it or something, it's probably not a huge deal, but I'll put up some comparison pictures here of some of the details on the top, just because there's some stuff I didn't touch on just in terms of accuracy, which, again, is slightly nitpicky, and in a photo, unless you're doing it side by side, you probably wouldn't notice it too much. Another thing is this bangle. In terms of accuracy, it's too thin, but it's also, like, holographic. It actually looks really cheap. Like, it's like, oh, you got this from the dollar store when you were 6. That's the vibe I get from this bracelet. These gloves, like, in terms of style, they're pretty cool. They don't, like, fit super well. Like, there's a lot of gapping around the, like, base portion, but they stay on, which is really all I can ask. Another problem I have here is that the tops and the bottoms are definitely the same fabric, even though, judging by her splash art and even the small amount of rendering on the in-game model, they're supposed to be different materials. These leggings also have a zipper up the back, which is super weird. Like, they're leggings. Why do you need a zipper? They're stretchy. These pants go up, like, way too high. Like, they cover my belly button, and in the splash art and stuff, you can clearly see her belly button. So, another weird thing about the materials, so the crisscross strap on the bottoms and this, like, crisscross arm thing are made of velvet. Is it just because they had velvet ribbon left over from something else and they were like, sure, let's use that? Same with the choker. The choker's velvet. It's supposed to be leather. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, and it looks really bad. I don't know. It's just, it feels bad. Fabric feels so, like, cheap and plasticky. It's so uncomfortable. Here's an overall look at the mass-produced Kaisa cosplay. From a distance, it looks fine, but then when you actually examine it, when you, like, do a comparison, like if you were to do a side-by-side of this splash art, you'd start to see, like, all the things that aren't quite right. It's like, if you've ever bought anything from Wish, the clothes on there, they look like the picture, but they don't feel like you'd expect them to. If you take a picture in it, sure, it'll look the same as the picture they advertised with, but it doesn't feel good and doesn't look like even the right material half the time. Just all these weird little things that kind of add up to making an overall not the best experience. Yeah, so this is definitely why I choose to make my own, because then I can make it as accurate as I want. Like in the case of mine, I made everything like super accurate, but then I added my own little twist with all the little heart details. And then also I can control the fit when I make it myself, because again, this whole thing just fits really bad. And then I can also like choose my comfort level, I guess, because when I made it myself, I picked materials that felt nice and were comfortable and felt like good quality, whereas these just like feel bad. And again, like if you're thinking of like a Halloween costume, like something you wear for like a couple hours one day of the year, it's probably not a huge deal. With conventions and photo shoots and stuff, like I've worn my Kaiser cosplay, I haven't even done a photo shoot in that yet, and I've worn it to like 4 conventions, so I'm spending a lot of time in it, so I want to be comfortable, and this is not that. You think, oh, I want to show this off, as opposed to like, sure, I'm just wearing some clothes, you know? Yeah, so overall, for this like cheap mass-produced cosplay, accuracy, I'd give it maybe like a 6 out of 10. Again, it looks like fine from a distance and maybe in pictures if the light doesn't hit the things that are the wrong material. Comfort level, I'd give it like a 3 out of 10. Like, this is so uncomfortable to wear. I'm really excited to take it off because it's like sticky and itchy in some places, and like everything's falling off of me, and I'm just not a fan. Alright, so that was my comparison of my handmade cosplay versus a mass-produced one that was sketchily sold on eBay. Again, if you do buy these types of cosplays online and you don't have the time or money, or you don't care to make one yourself, that's totally fine. Like, you're still showing your support for something, you're still participating in the community and connecting with others, and that's really what matters. I think I covered by now why I prefer to make my own, even though it does cost more, because with that increase in cost, you are getting a corresponding increase in quality and comfort level, which is something that I care about, especially since I wear it a lot. But if you're only going to one convention and you just want to wear it for a day, like, something like this is totally fine to do. And if for whatever reason you have any interest in buying this cosplay super cheap, I'll be selling it on my Depop page, because all I can really do with it at this point is resell it. So I hope you found this interesting or helpful, even if you aren't someone who cosplays yourself. If you've ever been interested in it, I definitely recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to kind of feel like you're interacting more at conventions rather than just standing around watching things, at least for me. If you have any other questions or comments about cosplaying, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you for watching. See you next time.